Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm fishing a little derby with the folks from Yak and Grass here locally. It's a series that's only on Guntersville, and line's end was at 5:15. It's 6:15, and I've already missed two. Look at this. That's missed a fish that's got me shaking. He knocked a hole in the grass that was unreal. I am about to go over here. Gave him about 20 minutes. And I'm about to go back and see if I can get it to eat again. I'm going to bring you guys along with me today for a little tournament fishing. Or fishing a little tournament, however you want to look at it. Not a real big tournament. Just a fun little Saturday derby, and I think we're going to be able to do all right. Haven't been on Guntersville, so I came on here fishing off of only experience because I didn't get a chance to get on the water and pre-fish because of, you know, it's that time of the year when you're doing contracts and sponsorship. Ooh, I just missed another one and all that good stuff. So just winging it. Which the first lesson I'll tell you is, if you're fishing a tournament, don't wing it. But I knew a little spot that I knew everybody would overlook. The boats would drive right past, and so we're gonna get out here and give her hell. Well, guys, it's about 8 o'clock. Got out here right at 5 o'clock, and the bite was on fire right at daylight. Caught two on a toad, missed a really big fish, kind of right at the boat, and missed another small one. Would have had me one fish shy of a limit. And as you can see, we're in the place that Guns N' Roses quoted best. We're in the jungle, baby. So it's crazy. It's kind of a slow day on Guntersville for a weekend, but there was like a Indy 500 taking off this morning, and I decided to get back in these places that are, I like to refer to as tweener spots, the spots between the spots that people overlook. And I've got this to myself. And so I've got a lot of fish that I've located over in the corner where there's a lot of wood underneath the hydrilla. And that's where I missed that big fish. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't know if you can see the moon right over my shoulder right here, but it's about halfway between feeding times. And so I'm gonna leave that for about the last hour and a half of the tournament. And what I'm doing is I'm just easing through here looking for activity and pitching and flipping a crawfish bait and a Cinco, and then every now and then throwing the toad even though the sun's up. Because when you're back in these pads and you hear the bluegill smacking, they'll hit a toad because those fish are feeding up on those bluegill and they'll hit a toad. So I'm picking my spots for the toad, but I'm really hitting these edges, flipping and pitching into these pads, and may have to punch this hydrilla later to upgrade the fish. But fun little weekend derby with the folks at Yak and Grass. My good buddy Joe Drowns, and we're gonna see if we can't get a top 5 finish and qualify for the championship. So let's get it. Yeah, this was up right there. Is that a catfish? Bro, when you feel that hit in a tournament, you think you got something. And then you don't. Should take a picture of this and submit it.
I thought you were doing hook to 8-pounder.
I did too. I was like, yeah, this is gonna help. Can you get a video of that? Are you getting video? Well, that ain't gonna help, but I'll tell you what, it would fry up nice if we had the time to hold on to it. So Get out of here, you slimy bastard. Well, that fish definitely got the adrenaline flowing. And it didn't do the head wobble till it got to the top, so I'm not gonna lie, thought I had a 23, 24-inch fish. Felt like about an 8-pounder when I set the hook. And I'm fishing a extra heavy rod, and it bowed it up, so I'm like, oh yeah. And then I saw the flash and thought, yeah, this is a bass. Then it started rolling, and I was like, catfish. And it knocked the fire out of a freaking yamacraw. See, try to tell you guys, those yamacraws don't work. They catch catfish and, you know, bass, but they just don't work. That's why I keep fishing them, so I can keep proving to you guys that they don't work, but most people don't listen, so I gotta go even harder to prove it to you knuckleheads that, like, these yamacraws, they just don't work. So stop buying them, stop fishing them, stop telling other people that they catch fish. I see you guys online talking about how awesome they are, and yeah, man, realistic presentation, you know, because they float, here's what happens. Let me show you what people say, okay? Basically, once you get it rigged up, they're like, yeah, man, that thing goes down to the bottom, and when it's sitting on bottom, it just stands up, and then the pinchers stand up, looks like a crawfish in the defensive posture, and bass can't stand it. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Probably only caught about 150 bass on it this year, just to prove to you clowns that fish don't eat it. I tried to tell you. Get back after it. Here we go. Damn catfish. Pretty fish though, healthy fish. Knocked the fire out of it. Even that crawfish was trying to kill it to prove to you guys that they don't catch anything. That's a solid little fish. I thought it was bigger, to be honest with you, when it hit that toad, but hey, you know what? Get 5 of these and then we can start working on upgrades. So get this thing back in the water, and then we're gonna get back to fishing. Yeah, that's a little better fish. That's a little better fish right there, boys and girls. Let's get a good look at that toker. Yeah, that's a solid fish right there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this dude on the board. Give me a little give you guys a little pro tip. When you're out here and the sun is out, and you got a metal board especially, but actually any board, wet it. It's gonna protect the fish's slime coat, and it's gonna keep you from laying that fish on a hot metal board or even a hot plastic board and that fish freaking out. Because imagine if you were half naked or all the way naked and I laid you on the hood of a car in the south on the summertime, you'd be kind of jumping around too. So yeah, fish is 19 3/4. That's gonna help the cause for sure. Little fatty. All right, that's definitely gonna help the cause right there. We're gonna get this fish back in the water and then see if we can't get another one. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this frog cleaned off. So look, the plan was to come out here and get a quick limit. that didn't work out because I didn't fish clean. I made my way out to check a couple spots because I missed a big fish in this corner earlier this morning. And I kind of knew the frog bite was going to play, but at this point, I've got 3 fish in about 30 minutes. Well, I've landed 2 and lost 1. And so it's pretty much going to be the pattern that I'm going to go down with the ship on. So we've got about an hour and a half left of the tournament. We're coming into the perfect feeding time on Bass Forecast, which is actually middle of the day, hot, but you notice one of the things that's benefiting us is it's hot, which means these fish are going to move back up under this cover, this duckweed. There's a lot less bait fish activity out here. You can hear these brim and bluegill popping back in here. So I think the scenario is just right. We need 2 fish like that and then 1 more upgrade, and I think we should be sitting in good shape. So we're just going to ease along. Every little spot could hold another fish, and we're going to pick this place apart. What I really like to find on Guntersville late summer is this duckweed over the top of hydrilla. There's a little bit of eelgrass in here, but most people are staying out of the shallow water because they think when they sprayed for to kill the grass a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that the shallow water sucks. But the wind was blowing that way for about 2 weeks, week and a half. And this whole side over here is nice and clean. Lots of duckweed, live hydrilla. And I think it's got everything we need. There's plenty of bait here. And we're just gonna finish out the tournament basically between here and that point, just working it slow. There's 1,000 casts we can make here, and we're gonna make them. Oh yeah, hooked up, baby. All right, guys, biggest fish of the day so far, just under 20 inches, so it's gonna score 19 3/4. I'm gonna get this big girl back in the water. Only got about 45 minutes left, and we're gonna see if we can't get another one. Oh gosh, dude! Well, I just missed a giant cast back over there and missed a freaking solid fish. And then right up here, I missed a 16, 17. And that's literally like 4, 8, probably 4. So 16 inches of upgrades I just missed. I'm gonna calm down. But a lot of people ask me about power pole, like is it worth the investment? And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the exact reason. The wind's blowing, these fish are stacked up on this edge. I can stop myself way out without putting any anchors or doing anything. And after I cover the area pretty good, then I can put the power pole up, drift forward with the wind, put it back down, and then fish the whole new water. So this is like the exact scenario why a power pole is worth freaking every penny. Pretty much what I did wrong is I'm fishing too fast. On all the other fish that I've caught, I've been twitch, 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 pause, twitch, pause, twitch, pause, twitch, 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 just kind of varying my cadence. And then when they blow it up, it's sitting still or just barely starting to move. But on those last 3 fish, I was actually, just missed another one. Just moving it too fast. And we're coming out of the feeding time, so it's a combination of me moving it too fast and their strike window shrinking. So I've got to slow down even more and then hopefully get a couple of upgrades before there's no time left on the clock. Joe just shut the leaderboard off with an hour to go. I was sitting in 5th place, which is the bubble for making the championship. So I need an upgrade for some insurance. And if I can get 2 or 3 upgrades, I can move up the scale. That's an upgrade. There we go. There we go. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. I forgot to zip my pocket, and the rogue tether just saved my life because it would have been in the water, like legitimately. All right, 18 3/4, just got a 17 and a 14, so that's a lot of upgrades. I'd love to talk about this a little bit more, but we'll talk about it at the end. I'm gonna get this guy back in the water. And I think the assessment I made was I was fishing too fast with the frog. So what can I do to slow down? I switched to the Senko. So I'll be honest with you, what I've been doing is throwing the Senko out and holding my rod tip up and just tracing it across the surface. And when I see a boil, just drop my rod tip and they suck it in. And that's how I've caught the last 2 fish. I got one more good fish over here, and then there's been a couple of smaller ones cruising out here. So I think I can get one more upgrade. We got literally 50 minutes left to fish. And Austin made a joke a little bit earlier, and he said, giving up? And I said, giving up? Shoot. And we've upgraded 4 times since then, so we're gonna fish this thing down to the wire and see if we can't get one more upgrade at least. Maybe 2, maybe all of them, who knows? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Called it, son. I don't know if this is going to help or not. Felt like it would have. Man, that is a fat fish, and it absolutely annihilated that Senko. Let me get it on the board and see if it's an upgrade. Hell yeah, it's an upgrade. Nice. 18 1/4. No, 18. Upgrade. Catching fish inside an hour of the end of the event is always freaking exciting. Catching 3 or 4 is even more exciting. Look guys, I've literally caught 3 fish on Senkos here in the last 10 minutes. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's only one thing better than a Senko, and that is a bulk pack bag full of Senkos. If you ain't buying Senkos like this, you need to get your life right, because that's the best way to buy them right there. Well, I had 1 cast left and I caught a fish on it. Unfortunately, this fish ain't gonna help me. Well, and it didn't matter. Well guys, that's gonna do it for the tournament. We're gonna head back to the ramp, get the kayaks loaded up, and then I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of what I caught the fish on, what adjustments I made, and why I think I caught the fish today. So we'll see you in just a minute, back at the ramp. All right guys, so let me walk you through what I consider the 1, 2, 3 punch of late summer into early fall vegetation fishing success. First and foremost, I love the ribbit. Now the reason that I love the ribbit is it's got these little kicker feet on it. And so when you're reeling it across the top of duckweed, when you're reeling it across the top of hydrilla, it creates a little bit more gurgle. You can reel a little bit slower so it stays in the strike zone longer, and you can rig it nice and clean. I use a Mustad grip pin hook, a 3/0 if it's really thick, and a 4/0 if the vegetation's kind of scattered. I'm using a 30-pound fluorocarbon Berkley big game leader. I'm fishing it on a 7-foot medium fast NRX rod from G Loomis, and I'm using a Chronarch HG and a 7:4 to 1 gear ratio. Now, when it comes to fishing the popping frog, In this case, it'll be the Vega. The reason I like the Vega for the type of fishing that I'm doing now is you want a frog that's going to come through the slop, but you can pop, and stop it because the fish aren't really chasing it down yet, okay? And so what I like about this Vega frog is it's got a slim profile in the front and a little more bulbous in the back. And when you stop it, it kind of sits nose up, but because the body's a little longer than most frogs, you still have a whole bunch of frog sitting below the surface, and when they blow up on it, they always catch themselves right in the corner of the mouth, just like that. There's a couple of keys to how I rig this thing. So I'm gonna put my rod back away, and then I'll show you guys that. And then when I'm done, I'll actually go through the rod reel lure, or rod reel line setup. So the key for me is to fish this thing on a loop knot, okay? What that loop knot's gonna do is it's gonna allow the frog to swing side to side, almost like walking the dog. And what that does is it gives the bass a profile look at it, and when they blow up on it, they're grabbing it sideways instead of coming up from behind and grabbing it like this. Now, one trick that I like to do to get my frogs to walk better is I always trim the legs off to where they're about the length of the body, just like so. But when I'm fishing tight, nasty slop, I'll trim them even shorter to where they're about half the body. But one thing that I always do is trim one leg about 1/4 inch shorter than the other. What that does is it creates more drag on the long leg side, so when I pop and stop it, it actually makes that frog hop, and turn towards that long leg side. And man, when it turns like so, when they see it going along and it turns, it looks like it's an easy meal, so they blow up on it. Like I said before, it catches them right in the corner of the mouth, just like that. The key to that setup, though, is that loop knot, to let that lure swing. And so I'm gonna try to show you guys exactly how I tie that. Now, I'm a big fan of high-end premium line for about 99% of my fishing. And I'm not saying Berkley Trilene big game is not high-end. What I'm saying is it's not high-end, okay? It's the best frog leader material that there is. It's fluorocarbon, so it's got a little bit of stretch to it. But what's also cool about it is it floats. So when you're doing that pop, stop, you don't want fluorocarbon, because fluorocarbon is going to sink just below the surface, and all of those little hydrilla fingers are just going to grab a hold to it, and then the next time you pull, your frog's going to go under. You're going to hang up, pull it free. It's just frustrating. And so I'm going to show you guys real quick how to tie this leader, and I hope it shows up on video. If not, we'll redo it with a rope or something along those lines. But I want to show you how to do it with fishing line. What you want to do is take the line and wrap it around your finger, and then make an overhand loop out of the finger-sized loop that you made, just like so, okay? You're going to take this line and you're going to go through the eye of whatever lure you're fishing. But here's the key. You're going to go through that loop, and when you go through that loop, you're going to pull it down. I'm going to use my finger as the lure, and you're going to go around the main line 2 or 3 times. I like 3, okay? Once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go back through the center of that hole. If you go through one side or the other, your knot's going to cockeye and it's not going to work right, but I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to make sure it's done right. You want to wet your line, hold the tag in, and pull the tag in. Once you pull the tag in, then you can pull your main line. And the way that you know that you've tied it correctly is your tag end will stick off at a 90-degree angle. If your tag end is sticking backwards or forwards, you tied it wrong, and it's not going to stay open like that. And if you hook a big fish, it's going to pull through. So that loop knot right there is the key to allowing that frog to swing back and forth. And that frog was the key to me catching 2 of my biggest fish, but because I slowed down and started popping it in that shallow water, it gave me the confidence to know that the fish were there, and then to settle down on that pattern and fish it throughout the rest of the day. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is the Senko. I know a lot of people love to wacky rig a Senko, and I know a lot of people like to do all kinds of other stuff, and Texas rig Senkos, and there's a lot of crazy stuff. And a lot of people even refer to this as a Texas rig. This is not a Texas rig, because a Texas rig actually includes a weight. This is a weedless rig, but because the hook is Tex-posed, a lot of people refer to this as a Texas rig. But I'm going to show you how to rig it. You're going to use, in my case, a Mustad grip pin hook, okay? It's real simple. This is a 3/0 hook. I drop down as small as a 2/0 because I don't want there to be so much weight that it makes the Senko fall, because the action from the Senko is that little death shimmy it has when it falls. So you want to wet your hook, and then what you want to do is you want to come into the nose, dead center, but you want to come down until you hit that transition. When you hit that transition, you want to stop, and you want to come out the side at a 90-degree angle. Make sure the hook's nice and wet. Go in just like that and turn it. Then you just let the Senko hang, just like so, and then you pinch it to where the hook point is in the middle of your fingers. Then all I do is bend it, and you want to come through at a 90-degree angle. You don't want it to come through sideways because then your worm will look goofy. When you come through at an angle like that, before you even Texpose it, if you straighten it up and you let it hang, it'll hang natural and it'll look almost perfect. And then you just want to take the hook and just barely skin it into the body. The reason I like to use the 3/0 and even drop down as small as a 2/0 is because I'm not going to get back into the middle of the worm. And when it falls, it's going to fall naturally. But when I'm fishing this vegetation, I'm going to hold the nose up and I'm going to reel it across the surface, and the back of that Senko is actually going to kind of waggle a little bit. So when I cast it out and let it hit the top, I'm actually casting it so that when it hits, I'm running it and raising my rod tip and hooking up my reel as it's falling. In this case, I'm fishing a G Loomis E6. It's a little bit older series. This is a 7'1", medium heavy, extra fast. This is my favorite Senko and jig rod because it's extra fast, so it's got a ton of feel. I know a lot of people like to fish Senkos on a little bit, slower action rod, a fast or even a moderate fast. I like that extra feel. I like to be able to bring it through stuff, and I don't like the rod to bend so much that when I pull it off of a limb or something, it shoots 12, 15 feet out of the strike zone. I'm throwing this on a Corrado. This is a 8 1-to-1, and I'm literally using 15-pound fluorocarbon as my leader because I'm always using fluorocarbon when it comes to a Senko. So the 1-2 punch that produced all the fish that mattered was the Senko and then the frog. And for the frog, or the hollow body in this case, the 6-inch Vega, I was fishing again a Corrado 70, 8 1-to-1, a 7'6" X Pride B. And I like this X Pride B because it's got a little bit shorter handle. And if you'll notice in the video, I'm doing a little quick walk. And so the way that I'm fishing this thing is I'm doing a twitch, reel, twitch, reel, twitch. And what I'm doing is getting that nose to just kind of move along. And I'm just varying the cadence. Twitch, twitch, pause. Twitch, twitch, pause. Now, here's the key to most of my big fish on any topwater frog, but especially this one. What you want to do is you want to do the twitch, twitch. And when you're getting ready to go to the pause, you want to do a pull. Instead of just stopping it, you want to do a pull. What that's going to do is create a little wake in front of the bait, and then you want to do the pull, give, and take up your slack. So what you're doing is you're pulling it, you're creating a little wake, you drop your rod tip, and then what happens is it turns sideways because you got that loop knot and it's running into its own wake. Let it sit for a second, count to 2, count to 3, count to 5, and just play around with your cadence. A lot of times, and I know this is going to sound corny, I will sing songs, not the stupid My Little Teapot song that Gene gets stuck in my head when I fish with him, but just different stuff like Tick Tick Boom, or Hell's Bells, or something to just get a cadence and then vary it. Okay, once you figure out what's working, you can literally settle down on that, fish it the rest of the day, and you're absolutely going to catch a ton more fish. So guys, listen, this time of year, if you're going to fish the 1, 2, 3 punch, I would absolutely fish these 3 lures. I would fish them on what I call the die principle. You're going to look for ditches, you're going to look for indentions, and you're going to look for edges. Ditches are basically old creek channels or canals that run under that grass. You can find them on Google Maps. You can find them on your favorite mapping service. You can get on your phone on Google Earth and find them. Mark them, and then just when you get out there, you've got a better idea. And then you're going to look for edges, not ledges. You're going to look for edges, the edge of a flat, the edge of a grass line, the edge of a stump field. And then last but not least, I said before, I'm a big fan of the ribbit. But when you get high pressure and it gets slicked out and there's absolutely no wind and it's bluebird, I like to put away the ribbit and go to the Zoom horny toad because it's a little more subtle. It's still got the kicker feet on it, but it's not as loud of a gurgle. You can fish it a little bit faster so you don't give them as much time to think about it, especially since there's no wind kind of camouflaging you, and you might be making a little bit more noise. So the fourth little leg of this whole thing is to have Zoom horny toads readily available for the times that wind dies, it slicks out, it's super calm. And guys, I think if you fish those 4 things, you can put fish in the boat from now until it's too cold to fish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Y'all do me a favor and leave a comment in the comment section if you've got any questions about the stuff that I skimmed over, or if you'd like to see more in-depth videos about patterns, techniques, and see my fat butt fish some more derbies. We'll see y'all in the next one. Hey y'all, listen, North Alabama really is a place where fishing dreams come true. From top-notch guides to diverse fisheries to breathtaking scenery, head down to North Alabama where you can reel in the adventure of a lifetime. And they're good! Discover unparalleled access to pristine waters loaded with everything from crappie to catfish to bass. So whether you're looking to load your cooler or catch a trophy, plan your next adventure by heading over to northalabama.org. You know, I see a lot of posts online with people talking about they gave kayak fishing a try, but they just don't like it. I think the only way you could not like kayak fishing is if you're doing it wrong. So if you tried kayak fishing and you didn't like it, I think it's just because you were doing it wrong or backwards.